Meow meow meow.
Hey there, welcome to Art of J-Mill. Procreate is my favorite art app to use right now. It's simplistic, intuitive, and powerful. If you've ever used any art app like Sketchbook, Metabang, or Sketches, you'll have a pretty good feel for how Procreate works right out of the box. If you've never tried Procreate, give it a go. It's a one-time buy of $10 at the time of this recording. If you're just starting, I would like to give you a run through of my setup and show you how I use Procreate. First, we're gonna open up the program like you see here and be greeted by the gallery. I usually hit the plus in the top right and use a 3000 by 3000 pixel DPI canvas. You can use any size you need to. To create a new canvas, just hit this little button in the top right corner and you'll be able to go to this creation area. You gotta pay close attention to the layers here because it only gives you so many layers depending on how large your canvas is. So they'll go up and down depending on the size of your canvas. So we'll do 3000 by 3000 and see the layers went down to 55 instead of 250. You'll also have this color profile thing. If you're doing web-based or CMYK settings, you can pick that here. The time lapse, I stick with the 1080 at good quality. It's really good for like social media posts or whatever. And then we just create the canvas. After we have our canvas created, it's a good idea to take a look at the actions menu. It looks like a little wrench, and go to prefs. In preferences, you'll want to take a look in the gesture controls. Here you'll see all kinds of neat little thingies to do. For the custom smudge controls, I have quick menu plus Apple Pencil selected. I almost always forget this is a thing, but that's fine. I don't have anything for erase or assisted drawing because I never felt the need to use it in any other versions of Procreate. For the eyedropper, I love the touch and hold option. 0.38 seconds was perfect for me. I'm not sure if that was the default or not, but it works really well. Draw and hold works well for quick shapes. I always use this when I'm drawing circles for my toon character. A 0.7 second delay is nice. You don't want the time to be too short or it'll try to initiate quick shapes before you're ready. I love the quick menu square button. It's super useful, especially if you set canvas flipping to the shortcuts, but I'll get into that in a little bit. I like having 4-finger touch for the full screen view since I rarely use 4 fingers at all, and it's sometimes useful. Scrubbing back and forth with 3 fingers feels right for clearing a layer. It just feels like you're cleaning it. I use the 3-finger swipe for copy and paste options. It says swiping down invokes it, but I always swipe up. Either way, it's one of my most used gestures with undo taking the number 1 spot. I don't have anything for layer select. I personally like selecting layers manually, but if you think you can benefit from holding and selecting, you should try it. Just make sure with all these touch options, you use your finger. I find touching and holding with the pencil to be harder since I can never hold the dang thing still long enough. In general, I keep disable touch options selected so my hand doesn't make things go crazy when it's on the screen. I also like having rotate with pinch zoom on so I can flip images around while transforming them. After all of the gestures are set, the next thing you should play with is rapid undo delay and selection mask visibility down here. They're pretty straightforward. One is how long you hold 2 fingers for rapid undo. The other is how much of the canvas you see when you have something selected. And these are my preferences. You'll notice I have the interface set to the left side. This is because I draw with my right hand and I'll constantly bump the bar if my hand is there. I also like to see the brush cursor while I'm drawing, so I know where I'm painting or drawing something. You can also see the brush size change if it's pressure sensitive. Most of the options are self-explanatory, but if you need help with any extras, feel free to ask in the comments below, or check out Procreate's website for tutorials and how-to stuff. The next thing you'll really want to set up is the quick menu. Tap the square button here and take a look at the options you have available. For me, the only real must-haves is the canvas flipping, but if you just tap and hold, you'll have more options available. For me, I only use the flipping ones though. Now that we have the basics set up, let's draw something. Who am I kidding? I'm just gonna draw the honor. There are lots of brushes for you to choose from to start, but my favorite for years has been Mike Henry's Fat Pencil. He recently updated and posted it for free with a few other brushes right here. I encourage you to go to his channel and check his stuff out. It's really great. I'll leave a link in the description and post the video in my Tips Procreate playlist for you to check out. The first thing I like to do is just get messy and sketch something. While you're sketching, you may want to adjust the size or opacity of your brush. To do this, you just use those little slider things on the side of the screen. The top one is for the size and the bottom one is for opacity. Now, a handy little trick for being more exact is to pull it further away as you're sliding it so that the percentages are more precise. The closer you are, the faster the bar moves up and down, but the further away, the slower it goes. It's just easier to change the percentages. So I'm going to draw a little sketch really quick. After I drop my sketch, I like to take down the opacity of the layer. You can do this in two ways. The first would be to tap the layer mode abbreviation. After tapping it, it opens the layer properties, and here you'll see the opacity and modes for the layer. The second is my favorite way. It's to two-finger tap the layer. So you just use two fingers and tap. This only works with layers that have something on them. You'll see a little slider at the top of the screen with the opacity percentage. Just slide one finger left or right across the screen to adjust the opacity. After the opacity is low enough, I just tap the layers and tap off, and then you're done. Now we'll start on a new layer. So I'll just hit the plus button. Make sure you're on the right layer because being on the wrong layer sucks. And I can trace over the outline. If you accidentally create layers you don't want or you have too many, deleting them is really easy. So let's create a new one. You can just swipe left on the layer and you get some options. You can lock, duplicate, or delete a layer. Tap delete to get rid of the layer. Now I can draw on the layer I was trying to draw on. Now that I got the main line down, I think I might want to change the color, and I don't want to redraw the whole thing again. Luckily, I don't have to. I can always alpha lock my layer, so the only pixels on the layer will be colored. You can do this in two ways. You can tap the layer and select alpha lock, or you can two-finger swipe the layer to the right. I always use the swipe method since it's just faster. Then you can select a color you want to fill that layer with. and then tap the layer and just hit fill layer. Keep in mind this fills all colored pixels, so if I had colored his eye shines white, those would have filled in and his eye would have just been all pink. Color drop is also a fun way to change the color. You can tap and hold on a color and drag it to the area you're trying to change. Just make sure you have alpha lock off when you do this, since it acts kind of funny when all the pixels are locked. Holding on the spot of the flood will bring up flood controls, and all you do is just hold and drag, and you can select how many pixels it's going to fill around it with that color. Oops. If you really wanted to click and drag on this on a piece that has more colors and more layers, it can really bring a piece together with an overall color theme. I can show you an example really quick. A quick example of the color drop and how it works would be if I were to take this and drag it over here. It changes the overall colors. I flood the whole piece with this color. Or maybe if I wanted something that's a little brighter. See how it just overlays colors on top. Back to the honor. Procreate 5 has a new feature called Recolor that you can also use for more specific color fill. I won't go into a lot of detail with this, but you can find it under the adjustments, which is that magic wand looking tool. I encourage you to go in and play with it and all these other settings. They're pretty easy to understand, and you'll learn a lot more if you mess with them on your own. If you get stuck, feel free to ask for help in the comments below or go to Procreate's help forums. I'll show you really quick what Recolor can do. You just drag this little plus wherever you want it to be, and it will recolor whatever you've selected, the areas you've selected. And you can control the flood down here. So I'm happy with this, and now I want to share my art with everyone else. To do this, you tap on the actions button, go to share. I select the image format that I want to save in my photo library. However you want to do this part, it's up to you. Remember, if you want a transparent background, make sure that you turn the background off in the layers. That looks crazy. And save it as a PNG. You have PNG option right here. There's a ton more to learn and do in Procreate, but that's all the basics. I hope I could show you some handy tips and tricks. I've always been a fan of shortcuts, so if you have some Procreate shortcuts, let me know. If you like this video, please leave a like and tell me what you thought, and don't forget to follow so you can get caught up on my randomness. Now get out there and have some fun with Procreate. You got this.